Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Spectacular Nerds. It's been a while, I know. Blame the big C. We can't really do much at the moment. We're in the UK. They've stopped us from being. We're able to meet up with certain people, but we can't meet up with people inside houses. We can only meet up with people outside of houses. It's going to make filming pretty difficult. We're hoping that these restrictions end up going to be, a little bit eased up later, but right now we can't really meet indoors, and filming outside in England when it's very windy and very difficult conditions is going to be quite tricky to do. So for now, we're going to try and work on more videos like this as best we can. We've both made a return to work, so our schedules are getting a little bit more hectic now, and that's majorly the main problem why we can't meet up too often these days. So, today's video is all about the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. Ta-da! So basically, we thought to ourselves, it's been a year since the big C has started, and right before that, this movie hit cinemas. And because it hit cinemas, this ends up making this the only real release of superhero movie, because I guess this counts as a superhero movie, released in 2020. And basically, it's not even one, it's the last film I saw in cinemas, because I haven't been back, obviously. So it's quite an interesting one to go into, considering my I won't say love, following of Sonic, because right now I'm not a biggest fan of the Sonic video game franchise, but that's not what this is. I've been a fan of Sonic for some time. One of the first games I think I ever played was Sonic the Hedgehog 2, way back on the Mega Drive, as we call it in the UK. So obviously I've been a fan of Sonic for some time. I've bought loads of his games, I've played through all of them, I've been following his TV shows that he's had. He's in, I think, up to like 4 at this point. And with a 5th one coming, thanks to Netflix, that we recently discovered. But yeah, so today's video is just going to be talking about our thoughts on the Sonic movie, the thoughts that we had before the movie came out, our review of the movie, and, leads, potential things that we know or think we know about the sequel or that we'd want from the sequels. So Joel's going to be talking after me when it comes down to what his thoughts are, and the differences between us is obviously, as I've said, I'm a fan of the series and have been for some time. Joel is what I would call either a casual fan or just straight up not a fan of Sonic. He's not really delved into too many of the games, if any at all. He's not really followed Sonic as actively as I have. Like, I'm right now following any information regarding Sonic's 30th anniversary, as I think I said in a video last time, and obviously I did the video on the update that Roger Craig Smith had stepped down from the voice of Sonic in the video game, so I am the Sonic aficionado of this channel. So what I thought we'd go through first and foremost is the expectations that I had before I'd watched the film going into. Now, as we first know, that when it comes down to the original trailer for the Sonic the Hedgehog film, everyone couldn't stand the Sonic the Hedgehog model. The whole idea of this realistic take on a hedgehog was pretty much panned immediately by fans. I spoke to a lot of people who didn't know what the Sonic the Hedgehog thing was after we got the redesign, and I showed them both, and they instantly said that the redesign was the more appealing design. So even to someone who doesn't know what Sonic is, that became the favourite design. So, let's talk about the kind of things that I expected after seeing the first trailer then. We knew that Jim Carrey was going to be Dr. Robotnik, and I really like Jim Carrey and his style of comedy. However, there were a lot of people that I know that when they saw the trailer and they thought, yes, Jim Carrey's in this movie, it's going to be fantastic, he's going to be a great Eggman. I never got that. I've been one of the people that when Jim Carrey was cast, I thought, great, we've got an actor that's going to be great, over-the-top, kids are going to be, loving it. But I heard he was cast as Eggman, and that confused me. I'm the kind of person who's never really looked at Jim Carrey in this portrayal of Eggman and thought, yep, that's an Eggman right there. I thought he could do a decent villain. But Eggman, portraying specifically the character Eggman, no. I was looking at that and thinking that was a casting mistake. Going back to the original design as well that came out that everyone panned, myself, I thought of it as a sign that the people who were creating the film didn't care about the source material. They just saw an idea of, here's a blue hedgehog thing facing an enemy, and we'll make a film out of that. So I didn't think there was going to be any love and care put into the source material, which I know it's Sonic the Hedgehog. It's not exactly the most lore-filled thing in the world, but there's a lot of people that give a shit about what goes into a Sonic film, and frankly, we were thinking to themselves that they were just taking a cash cow and they weren't really caring about what they were making. Also, before the film even came out, there were people covering the fact that there is a plot that had been leaked of the film, and I saw multiple people go into details, and we heard things like Sonic was going to be shown as a baby, had an owl guardian with him for the first time ever, apparently his rings would help him teleport places, which was very confusing to a Sonic fan because, one, we've never really seen Baby Sonic, so that would be interesting to see tackled. This owl guardian thing I've never heard of before, so it was like, what the hell are they doing with this? And the rings teleporting, the only thing I can think to about that is the Sonic bonus stages at the end of the original Sonic games, and I guess Sonic 3, where he would jump into a ring and that would teleport him to a special stage, but realistically all his rings were just something he carried that would defend him if he got hurt. He would just drop them and they would stop him from being killed. So I didn't really understand where they were going to go with this ring teleportation thing, but I thought, okay, I guess I've seen them teleport once or twice before, so can't be too crazy. The other thing was the trailer's humor felt really bad. Like, they had the joke about Sonic being kidnapped and he was a child in someone's bag, and they had Eggman doing that speech to the general guy, and I was like, none of this really feels funny or clever or anything like that. It felt very forced and very meh, like a very generic, like, we're just making like a lot of people joke, like you have movies like The Smurfs and Hop and Alvin and the Chipmunks, so this was just going to be the film that was a CGI character in a real world film, and everyone thought it was going to be another one of those generic style films that we've had quite a lot of recently. And also it was paired with the song Gangsta's Paradise, which I've got nothing against the song, but oh, that was such a poor choice of song. I mean, it doesn't go with anything. Also, there's the moment where they're like cutting the song with the pieces of dialogue, which just kills the whole pace of the song. It was a very weird choice. That partner out with Dr. Eggman, I mean, Robotnik, you know, he didn't feel like Robotnik at all. He felt like a completely different character. So again, I still looked into it going like, why is Jim Carrey playing this character? I don't understand it. However, before we actually got to see the final film, we got a new trailer which ended up dropping, and frankly, we were really surprised. They announced they were going to do changes to the OG design because of the fan backlash, and they delayed the film, which I think honestly is the best thing they could have done. And then they came back to us with a whole brand new design, which was like, whoa, holy crap, this is amazing. And we were looking at it, and of course we had Tyson Hesse, who's been working on he's working on the Sonic Mania cartoon opening. He was working on Team Sonic Racing Overdrive, I think it was called. He worked on that. He's worked on the IDW comics. He's just great in terms of like working with Sega and understanding what Sonic needs to look like to stay that iconic character that we all love and deserve.
Hey guys, Spectacular Nerds here. Happy 2021. Now, obviously, as Sean has explained, unfortunately, we've not been able to do much content this year because obviously we've all been locked up. We don't know where you guys are watching from, but if you're from the UK like us, you'll know exactly what we're talking about. And yeah, unfortunately, due to not being able to like see other households, we've not been able to record anything. So we're doing another video like this, just two-parter. We at least got the ball rolling with that first video, so we're gonna try and keep it rolling, see how it goes. But yeah, for today, the topic is the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. Now, this movie did come out a while ago now, but it's actually quite the good topic we've chosen because it came out last year in 2020, and that was the year of the mad lockdown, and of course, there wasn't many movies that came out, you know, they got delayed because of that. And in fact, due to this little funny thing, Sonic the Hedgehog is actually the highest grossing superhero movie of all 2020. So yeah, that's an interesting little fact, and to be honest, it's quite well deserved, as we're gonna see when we talk about the Sonic the Hedgehog movie today. Okay, so my expectations going into it, I obviously saw the Abomination Sonic with the human teeth and the realistic proportions around the same time everyone else did. Oh, and the infamous Gangsta's Paradise song playing over the first trailer. Now, this is gonna be blasphemy for a lot of fans, and again, this is why Sean is leading this review. But I actually thought it looked alright. I didn't think it was too bad. Even Sonic's design, Sonic's design to me looked exactly what I thought Hollywood would do if they ever did a video game character. Because they usually do things like that, you know, they sort of take the design and make it realistic or whatever. But that being said, while I didn't mind the design we got in the end was fantastic, and it was amazing they listened to the fans and they made it closer to the video game design. While I was okay with that first design, you know, the standard Sonic design just fits so well in with, like, you know, human people, because we've seen this before in things like Sonic X and Sonic 06. So they kind of just made themselves a lot of problem going for that design in the first place, and it's something they could have avoided, but luckily they went back and fixed it, and it was for the betterment of the movie because the movie's been quite popular. Despite all of the initial negative feedback, which I wasn't a part of, I was kind of neutral because I wasn't looking forward to it. It's been pretty good, as we're going to talk about next now.
So what did I think of the film? Well, first and foremost, the first thing that you see is a Green Hill Zone style world that Sonic comes from. The Baby Sonic that we heard about in the leaks. We see Baby Sonic running around and meeting up with Longclaw. And frankly, that world looked amazing. Like, honestly, if they were ever going to translate a Sonic world from the games, from the OG games, which the graphics are very outdated, and modernize it and turn it into this 3D lush environment, I thought they did a great job. And even Baby Sonic, although I'm a little iffy on the whole idea of seeing Sonic very young, was handled well. Like, he looked great in his environment. The environment looked great. You had the crumbling, floor from in the games. We saw the Echidna tribe during this opening thing, and I thought they looked fantastic. And then we had this realistic Longclaw owl, which I can only assume is like a leftover bygone thing from the whole realistic, animalistic approach that they were taking with the OG design. But either way, I thought Sonic's world, so to speak, looked fantastic. And then, of course, we have the idea that Sonic has to escape his own world, to escape from the Echidna tribe, we're assuming, going after him for his power, I guess. Never really seen Sonic's speed described as like a power that he's inherited or that he can use, but interesting nonetheless. And the fact that he had to escape into a world full of humans. Now, we've seen similar things in like Sonic X, where the entire point of the show was that he'd been transported from his home planet Mobius onto Earth, or even, Sonic Adventure, where we've seen like him interacting with people. It's an interesting concept. But it was interesting to me that we were deciding to use Sonic's interactions with the human in his sort of like, I have to stay back and hide, to sort of paint him as a sympathetic, kind of like, almost anxious character that doesn't really know how to interact with people properly. Sonic's always known for being a really cool character. In fact, that's kind of the point, is when Sonic was created, he was the antithesis to Mario. Mario was seen as uncool, at least, to the people at Sega, and they wanted to create a character that was cool. So it'll be interesting to see, hopefully, that they can go from this design that they've got now of sympathetic character that's kind of like, not meek, but not necessarily like the cool character that we're all expecting. So hopefully go into the sequels and become much more confident in himself and become that cool Sonic character that we expect. There's a few characters in Green Hill Town, which are interesting. You have Tom, who's the police officer, Maddie, his girlfriend. You've got another police officer who's not as competent as Tom, shall we say. There's the crazy guy who has the Sonic little picture, which I thought he was actually really kind of cool. I kind of wish there was a scene that they deleted, which I kind of wish they kept in the film, of him, which I thought was quite interesting. I think his character would have been more interesting if we'd have seen more of it. Then we get to Jim Carrey, officially seeing him come into the role, and again, the fears that I had going into the film about Carrey just not being right as Eggman is exactly realised. I don't see him as Dr. Robotnik. I think he's a great villain. I think he works really well as a villain for this role, and I think as a villainous character, he's great. He's got the presence, he's got that sort of menacing tone, he's got that kind of frantic behaviour that only Jim Carrey knows how to deliver. But he's not Eggman to me. He's not Robotnik. He's not that character. He's a villainous role, but I don't think he should be playing Robotnik. There's decent humour in the film as well. I'm not going to turn around and say it's a hilarious masterpiece, but there's really good humour in the film for what it is. I mean, you have to remember, this is a kid's film. Sonic is a kid's character. I mean, the box art literally says at the bottom, you probably can't read it because it's backwards, kids are going to love it. So I know that the humour is going to be a bit sort of like, ha ha ha. I mean, there's even a fart joke in there, for crying out loud, with the mention of chili dog, so there's at least that accurate lore. So the humour isn't ha ha the whole way through for everyone, but it'll be great for kids. It's light-hearted enough to keep it funny. And, there's some certain scenes in there that I just think are really interesting, like seeing some of the pop cultural references being thrown in and things. Obviously, at the end of the film, we get the first look at Tails, and Tails has come out of Sonic's dimension, or Sonic's world, or Sonic's land, or whatever, to go and try and find Sonic. So I think that's really cool as well, to see that they've already thought about how they wanted to expand on this. And the two main characters, we have Sonic and Tom, and I actually really thought their rapport was quite good. I mean, it helps that the actor James Marsden, he's worked with like CGI characters before. He did the film Hop, which was about like an Easter bunny or something, and their chemistry felt, genuinely quite good, for Sonic and humans interacting. Some people like Sonic with humans, some people just prefer Sonic interacting with other animals, but I always, as a fan of like the adventure games, I really like the idea of like Sonic in a human world and trying to overcome those situations and things. I mean, if you think about Eggman is, or Robotnik, depending on your flavour, he would want to basically, roboticize everything, and it's just interesting to see Sonic go up against him, and then seeing that also when he has to enter a man-made world as well. One thing I'll point out as well is I actually really enjoy the Eggman drone designs. I think they were really done very well. They're very simple and very curved and very aesthetically quite nice to look at. I just think, in the old games they were based on like animals and, clunky little things. I think there's quite a sleek look to them right now, which I quite enjoy. Overall, I think the film turned out really well. I went in not expecting that much based on the first trailer. The second trailer hits and I'm a little bit more excited for it, and I came out actually thoroughly enjoying the movie. There's a lot of good references in there. There's a lot of good, they actually do seem to give a shit about what they're trying to make, and I appreciate that, because Sonic's been through a lot over his almost 30 years of being on this game series. He's been through a lot of ups and downs, so I appreciate that someone's actually taking the time to actually try and explore the character properly.
So, for my review section of the movie, I thought it was pretty damn good. It was a lot better than I expected. Like, I wasn't expecting much. I just went into it, kind of open-minded, wanting to see what they did. I was looking forward to Jim Carrey, because I haven't seen him in a really good movie in a long time. Not since, like, the late 2000s. I can't remember the movie, but he was in a movie there, but even then he was a bit toned down. So I was really looking forward to it, partly because of that. The other part was obviously because I'm a video game fan, so just seeing any video game property come to the big screen is an interesting experience, and this was part of that. So when I watched the movie, I was actually really surprised, because Sean lent me the Blu-ray, at how good it was. Like, it was funny, it was entertaining, it wasn't the most complex thing in the world, but like, for what it was, like a movie aimed at kids, it was pretty good, There was some good humor in there. Cyclops, well, his actor, I can't remember his name, but Cyclops and Sonic, I thought they worked pretty well, It was surprising. I'm not sure how much of a thing he's going to be in the later movies, but it was surprising how their little rapport worked and how that developed. And then the way it kind of led into Sonic, becoming more Sonic from the games. I thought it was great. It was a surprise. And the jokes weren't all sort of like kiddie, like slapstick humor kind of stuff. There was also a lot more to it. There was like, some funny jokes for the adults, some bit of witty stuff. So I was really surprised by that. And then, when Jim Carrey finally came into it and I saw him as Eggman, I thought he was a great Eggman. Like, I would have never imagined Eggman like that, but he had the energy and the power. Even though it was more Jim Carrey than it was Eggman, because it wasn't really Eggman. I mean, again, I'm the less experienced in the Sonic universe here, but even I can say it wasn't really Eggman. But despite that, like, it was great. It was fun. And maybe it's just because I like Jim Carrey, so it's good to just see Jim Carrey again. But yeah, he was more playing Jim Carrey than he was playing Eggman. But I thought maybe it was good. That was what this movie needed. But hopefully in the sequel, which we're going to talk about next, we can see him maybe develop a bit more away from like the typical Jim Carrey character and turn into the more kind of Eggman from the games. So let's see how that turns out. Other things I liked. Well, yeah, I liked the graphics. I thought they were really good. Like, they done a fantastic job replacing that old Sonic and changing it with this one. The soundtrack was pretty good. It doesn't immediately come to mind, but it was good during the movie. And the reveal of Tails at the end was fantastic, and he looks great. So it's good to see that this movie, which is more of a sort of stepping stone into this whole universe and like setting everything up, it'll be interesting to see if it's now going to go into a more kind of Sonic universe thing. So that's what I'm looking forward to. But overall, as a non-Sonic fan, it was a good movie. Like, yeah, good time. It's probably the best video game movie I've ever seen. And that's saying something, considering how many bad ones there have been. I haven't seen Detective Pikachu yet, but I'm sure that's up there with that. But it was a good movie, definitely a good movie, and I look forward to maybe more properties from Sega making it to the big screen. Yakuza, anyone? But yeah, it's a good start for Sonic, and now we'll be talking about the sequel, and that'll be Sean's turn up next.
So in terms of what can we expect to see from a sequel, or what do I want to see from a sequel, well, Jeff Fowle, who directed the film, said that this film wasn't originally given that big of a budget, so he wanted to show more of Sonic's world apparently, but the budget didn't allow, which is why most of it takes place on Earth. It'd be interesting to see if they decide to incorporate that into the sequels and start to explore other areas, which I'll get to in a second, but it's possible that we might be seeing more of Sonic's worlds, or at least more familiar surroundings based on what we expect from the games. We've also seen some images coming from sets of there's like these models now of Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, confirming that all three of them are going to be in the film together, which is great. We're really looking forward to seeing what's going to happen with that. We've also seen, I think, some models of like Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles in like these balls, doing like a spin dash attack, which will be interesting to see how that plays out in the movie as well. And we've also seen, there's been some recorded footage of Eggman sort of rising up off the ground, and he's definitely, it won't be the most clearest image because it's quite a far back shot, but it's basically Eggman decked out in black. He's definitely bald, he's definitely got the moustache from the end of the film, so we know he's back, and it'll be very interesting to see what they're going to do with that. I mean, I would have liked to have seen, him go full Robotnik, wear the red suit, maybe get a little larger. It looks like they've slimmed him down, he's wearing black, but I guess this is just the film version that we're going to get. I'm not a massive fan of him being the Eggman, the Robotnik, but he does a fine job as a villain, I guess. We've also had confirmation that they're recording in Hawaii. We've seen something to do with like like a very icy area, and like huskies, which we're aware of. So maybe that's like a callback to like Ice Cap Zone or something in Hawaii. Maybe something to do with like either Green Hill Zone or what I'm thinking, Angel Island, when it comes down to Knuckles being in the film. That maybe we'll be paying a visit to Knuckles' home area of Angel Island with the beach and the palm trees and everything, and maybe that's how Knuckles gets introduced into the film. In terms of what I'd like to see come out of the film, I mean, I'd like to see Knuckles and Sonic doing a battle. That's one thing that we've always known as their rivalry. Tails mentioning something about like how he's an inventor and how he's inventing things, and seeing how that, maybe even seeing the tornado would be great. I'd love to see them bring in mentions of the Chaos Emeralds. We haven't seen anything about the Chaos Emeralds, but bringing the Chaos Emeralds would at least allow us to get something like actual Supersonic. Apparently in marketing they were using the term Supersonic for what the state Sonic was at the end of the first film, and I'd really like to see the true golden Supersonic come into it. And we've also seen coming from the film is these military units, like vehicles and things with the letter G stamped on the side, which seems to be indicating that Gun is going to be in this movie too, which is great, because if they're doing that, then we may be able to tie into more Sonic Adventure style plot lines, like maybe Chaos, or even better, maybe even Shadow. And it seems to me like what they might be setting up is the idea that, you know, maybe Eggman is working with Knuckles, and then Knuckles turns on him because he realizes that Sonic is actually the good guy, again, very calling back to the games, and that maybe Eggman decides that he's going to try and find something that can beat Sonic, either maybe a Metal Sonic, or maybe he helps in creating Shadow or discovers Shadow the Hedgehog, which could then introduce him into the third film, which I think would be very interesting. But yeah, Shadow being in the films, Metal Sonic, these are all things for a third film. For the second film, I just want to see a good rivalry between Knuckles and Sonic, and don't squander Knuckles. I want him to seem, you know, naive, but also like the gruff and angry. Like my Knuckles is always in the sort of like Sonic X, like Dan Green style Knuckles. That's my Knuckles. That's the Knuckles I want to see in Sonic 2. But yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on the Sonic movie. I thought it was really good, much better than I thought it was going to be. Do I think it was like the best movie ever? No, but I think, you know, as video game movies go, you can only have so many expectations. You only have pretty low expectations, and frankly, I think they did a great job with what they got. And, you know, they surprised everyone. I think no one was expecting the Sonic movie to be as big of a hit as it was, and it was.
So, for me, the sequel, obviously, again, as not the big Sonic fan, I just want to see Tails, Knuckles. Knuckles is already apparently confirmed to be in the movie, or kind of confirmed as it can be. We've seen, like, a stand-in for him in some movie, some set photos. So, yeah, I just want to see, like, the old gang, like, from the Sega Genesis days, and hopefully we'll get some depth to that, and maybe they can start putting their feet into like Sonic Adventure stuff. Like, I don't really know anything about Sonic Adventure. I only really know like Sonic Rush, the Sonic Genesis, Sonic 1 and 2, and maybe some of the other spin-off games. But still, it will be good for like us non-fans to see that wider universe, because we're maybe not used to seeing, we're not maybe familiar with Sonic's wider universe, so this will be a good way to kind of deliver that to new people for the movies. But first and foremost, I just hope they get kind of the Sonic 2 and 3 vibes, you know, the Knuckles, the Sonic, the Tails, and fighting Eggman, and, you know, maybe just going into like Knuckles' backstory and the Chaos Emeralds. So if they get that down solid, like from there they can go into like the further lore, like adventure stuff, and it'll be fantastic. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the sequel. Hopefully we'll see some other characters come up in the future movies. I don't know, like not Elise. That's probably blasphemy. Sonic 2006. Shadow, obviously Shadow. We need to see Shadow eventually, 100%. Shadow has to be done. Like, the fans will want him. He's a cool character, even for people who don't know him. Hopefully he won't have guns, like in Shadow the Hedgehog, the PS2 game, the infamous 2005 PS2 game. Although I'm not sure if Sega fans and Sonic fans like that, but yeah, hopefully we don't see that version of Shadow. Rouge the Bat. No. But I was joking about this with Sean. Like, that would be funny if we saw Rouge the Bat. Like, how would they get that design? Like, I know nothing about this character, but just that design is worrying. So hopefully we don't see that on the live screen. That would be a bit traumatic for the kids. But yeah, no. Overall, I'm just looking forward to whatever is coming our way with the Sonic movies, and hopefully this will open the way for maybe even a whole shared universe, and we could even get like a crossover with Sonic and Alex the Kid or something like that. But yeah, it's looking good for Sonic, and I can't wait for the Sonic 2 movie. And yeah, see you later guys, hope you have a good one, and stay safe out there.
So yeah, let us know what you think in the comments down below. Did you see the movie? Did you like the movie? Are you looking forward to the Sonic 2 that we've been getting? Have you been keeping an eye on what's been going on with Sonic 2? I mean, I know I'm going to keep an eye out. If I see any major updates, I'll try and put it on the channel. But yeah, let us know what you thought in the comments down below. We'll try and get back to doing as more regular videos as we can. But yeah,